Hey, hello again. This video tonight is kind of to respond to what I call the stupidity of our country. And I'm referring to the fact that for some odd reason, when a person chooses who they want to be the candidate for their party, now it's sort of like, oh, you're an idiot. Because you're not voting for those people who represent Obama's philosophy. They want people who's going to continue what Obama has done for the past 8 years. And they figure, we've already got Clinton in there as our candidate. But see, we have to have somebody that thinks the same way as the Democrats. And it has to be a Republican candidate. Well, guess what? The American people have spoken. The American people have been saying for the past 6 months, we want somebody who can fix what Obama screwed up for the past 8 years. And now all people can do and all people can say is, okay, y'all voted, but y'all were wrong, and now we're not going to support what the American people have decided who they want. And that's Donald Trump. And personally, myself, if you're going to tell the American people what you voted for in those campaigns or in those delegate votes, that what they voted for was wrong and that the American people are wrong to say they wanted Trump as their candidate, then you're abolishing the electoral process, which means that everybody has the same right to say who they want to be the candidate. And for me, when I go to the polls and I vote at the end of this year, I'm going to write in Donald Trump. I don't care what happens about the Republican Party. Donald Trump, as far as I'm concerned, he should run as a gubernatorial candidate, or he should run as a third-party candidate if the Republican Party will not support him. Because the American people now have spoken. The American people have said as one voice, we don't like what Obama has done to this country. We want somebody who's going to do what Ronald Reagan did in the 1980s. And he stood up and he says, we got to fix this mess that's been created. And Donald Trump is saying that. And all what I call the yuppie retards in the world, and I'm talking Ted Cruz, I'm talking about John Lasik, I'm talking about Jeb Bush. All of these people have one philosophy: Obamacare. They were the idiots that chose to say we want Obamacare. They're the ones that said we are the ones that choose what really America wants. In other words, we're going to speak for you whether or not you really want us to say what we're going to say about America. And enough Americans in this country have now said it through what they voted for when Trump has gone to all these different states. He said, if you want to get rid of Obamacare, if you want to get rid of what he has created in the past 8 years, you've got to get somebody in here who can do the job. And Trump is the only one that people are saying they want. They're not saying, Ted Cruz, he's kind of good. And guess what? Ted Cruz is telling the American people, I'm not going to give my votes to Donald Trump. Well, guess what, Trump? I would just tell Ted Cruz, stick it. He don't need your votes. People have already said who they wanted. That's why Ted Cruz dropped out of the race. He knew there ain't no chance for me to win this election or this nomination. Trump has already proven he is the candidate the American people want. And these lovers of Obamacare and these lovers of Obama, what are they saying to people whenever they get on television? Oh, people are stupid. People don't understand what they're voting for. And it's like, you cannot tell people how to vote, folks. You can manipulate the results, but it doesn't change the fact that the American people have spoken. They have said what they want, and that is Obama goes. We don't want another Obama with Hillary Clinton. We want somebody who's going to fix the mess that's been made in this country. And Donald Trump's the only one that has the brain power and he has the votes because the American people have spoken. And what I call the lovers of Obama, they can't accept that. They can't say, wait a minute, how did this happen? It's because the American people said it, that's why. We're the ones that choose who is the President of the United States. It is not up to the Illuminati. It is not up to a certain group of people like the Bilderberg group or somebody else who decides whether or not what we want as American citizens should be done or how it should be voted on. It's up to us, the American people. That's why the Constitution says, we the people of the United States. That's what the preamble says. Obama, he don't even recognize the Constitution anymore. Then he goes on television in this absolute retarded attitude about Donald Trump is not reality. And it's like, your reality? What you've done to the United States is reality? Nobody likes what Obama has done in the past 8 years. And these lovers of Obama see the opposite. He has brainwashed them to believe the crap he has said and let people get away with thinking that it doesn't matter what people who have real rational thought think. We're the ones that decide in what we're going to do. It's been proven in 6 months' time, folks. You don't decide that. The American people decide that, not you. And now they can't accept that. Now it's sort of like reality break. They wake up and realize the American people voted for Donald Trump because they want him. And the Republican Party, who are actually now backed by the Democrats, are saying, we can't accept Donald Trump. He don't represent what the yuppie generation says. He don't represent what Hillary Clinton's saying, that we have to have a new world order. That's why the Republican Party has no backbone. They're not standing by what Donald Trump represents. They're not standing by what the American people voted for. Donald Trump did not buy votes. Donald Trump got votes because people voted how they feel. And that's why the American people should stand up and say, we don't like communism or socialism running our country. And if that's what y'all are trying to do is force a democratic viewpoint on the Republican Party, you can take that crap and you can shove it. If you don't want to shove it, go to communist North Korea, go to China, go to Russia. He already has his arms around Cuba. I say let all the socialists in this country who love communism and socialism, tell them pack up, go to Cuba and live with Raul Castro or even Fidel. That's why Obama is hugging the Castros. Castros are still communists. They are no different than they were 40 or 50 years ago, even when John F. Kennedy was president of the United States. There is no difference. The difference is we have a communist for a country president who says, well, it hasn't worked, and we're communists now, so let's just accept them the way they are. And that's what Obama did. Obama accepted communism because he is a communist. Hillary Clinton is a communist. She studied and she actually learned under Saul Alinsky. She loves George Soros, who is for a new world order. And this video today is to tell all of you in one sentence, socialism and communism is wrong, and those who represent this country today have that same viewpoint. And I'm talking about Cruz, I'm talking about all the other candidates for the Republican Party. And that's why people didn't want them. Because they knew, and they do know, that this country is going down and it can't be brought back up again. And civil servants know that now. The police department knows that. The military knows it because they're not being treated the way that they thought they would when they went in. When they went into the military, they assumed that the government would take care of them. They ain't taking care of them. That's why so many of the military people are saying, I better not get out of the military. I don't have a chance for anything. And all of that has to do with one philosophy. Socialism and communism means world condemnation. It means world domination. It means world submission. And I've heard it on John Kerry's lips more than one time. I've heard him say this. The global order. He said that twice, at least 3 times. And what does that mean? It means there is something bigger than the United States itself as a government that's controlling global events. Something bigger than the government of the United States is controlling our lives in this country. It's controlling even the political process. And that's why when the American people spoke out and said, we want Donald Trump, you got this out of the background group something that's representing Ted Cruz, and they're representing all the other people, and they're saying, we don't like that idea. We don't want Donald Trump. It's like the American people have spoken. It is. Accept it. We choose who we're going to vote for, not you. And see, the American people should be saying, whoever you are in the background saying all this stuff, get out of here. We don't want you. We're not going to listen to you. And that's what it's all about. The American people have to stand up for themselves. They have to say, we voted, we've chosen, now you have to accept it. Why? Because that's what America is all about. That's what freedom's all about. Standing up for your rights. Standing up for who you are. Not letting a socialistic viewpoint like Obamacare or Obama himself tell you, nah, that's not the way it should be. It's like, really? What happened to the Bill of Rights, Obama? What happened to the United States Constitution, which you were supposed to uphold and defend when you took the oath of office as President of the United States, and you haven't done that? Then I got these idiots on YouTube who are like cussing, lying, saying all this stuff about, oh, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, don't you even know what used to be called freedom of speech? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. It's not your right to overpower or overspeak somebody else's opinion and say, well, you're wrong, so therefore what I say is the only thing that matters. Freedom of self-expression is another thing that the United States Constitution guarantees. The Bill of Rights especially say that. Obama's eliminating all these rights. He says, well, it offends some people. It's like, too bad. That's what they tried to do when these laws were passed in 1776. Some men were put in jail because they said the truth. The U.S. Supreme Court at that time said, this man's telling the truth. We can't penalize him because it offends other people. It's true. He said what happened. He said what was true. We can't penalize somebody like that. But now it's the opposite. Now it's like, well, you're upsetting the Muslims. You're upsetting the blacks. You're upsetting the Latinos. You're upsetting this group, that group. That's what America's founded on, that everybody has the equal right to say what they want to. But socialism is the opposite of that. Socialism is controlling the masses, controlling what you say and what you do. And that's where Obama has been wrong ever since 2008. When he became president, he screwed up the greatest nation that ever lived, that ever existed. And now this country is beyond help. There is no hope for this country when even the politicians themselves cannot accept what the American people have already said, which is, we want Obama out, we want Donald Trump in, we want communism out, we want socialism out, we want the illegal immigrants out. I mean, they siphon all the money we're paying as taxpayers, and they don't ever put anything into it. And then they say, well, that's so un-American. It's like, excuse me, but my ancestors came to America the right way. They came through Ellis Island. They came through the normal, legal way. Can you tell my ancestors who are now dead how you came was really just stupid? I mean, you should have just come in any way you wanted to, like the Mexicans do? No. You would never be able to say that to my face, because I would tell you flat out, if you can't come here legally, don't come here. Because all you're going to do is siphon out the infrastructure of America, and that's already now happening. And look at how totally a wreck our nation is, because people like Obama say that your freedom, your rights should never encroach on those who are illegally here and who don't have those same rights because they aren't American citizens. We got to give them the advantage. And I say you're absolutely wrong, Obama, because America was not founded on giving freebies to everybody who come here without doing it the legal right way. That's another reason why drug use in this country is so totally out of control. Guess where most drugs come from? Mexico. It comes right across the border from Mexico into the United States. Do you ever hear of them having problems like that in Canada? Oh, we got Canadian immigrants coming into America. They got a good system there. They don't have to rethink about whether they should be migrating out of Canada. Mexicans come here because they know we're idiots. We're going to give them everything they want.